I wanted to talk to you mostly because over the last little while I've been talking to a number of builders, and they're like, yeah, it sounds good. You know, maybe they're sitting on the fence, or they still want to think about it, and they've got questions coming up. And like many businesses, you know, you often wish that, you know, mate, like if I want to work with you, I wish you, and I'm trying to convince you of the value, I wish you would just go and talk to so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know, so often I wish some of these guys would talk to you, or talk to a number of our builders, and a lot of them sometimes ask, can they talk to you? A lot of them I went back and said, have you had a chance? They said no. And I said, well, what would you ask him? Because I chat to Tim on a regular basis. What would you ask him? How about I go and talk to him, I'll ask him the same questions, we can record it either on Zoom or in person, so it's good to be doing it in person, and then I can just send it to them. And hopefully that'll answer a lot of questions they might have. So,
well, hopefully I can answer the questions on what they're after, because there is a lot of questions for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for you, first off, what was it that, you know, before you looked at doing video, you know, before you found us, why did you go on that search? What were you wanting to achieve?
As in what I look for video?
Yeah.
I think starting a business, you're always looking for an edge.
Okay.
And finding out what that actually is brought me to video. There's so many different avenues you can take for marketing, and digital marketing being so heavily used now, and videos getting, I think it was like 60,000 more impressions than a photo. For me, it was like, okay, so video is where it's going to head towards. It's going to tell who I am better, because I can speak directly to the person. Get an insight into, you know, who I am, who my family is, you know, why we started our business. But, you know, there's a lot of video companies out there, like a lot. Like you Google it and it's really hard to decide. So I did a lot of looking prior to, you know, obviously working with you guys. And it came from a referral, which I always love, because if somebody's used it before, you know, you trust that opinion.
Absolutely.
That's great. And so it was a decision. And even with that referral, and even knowing, you know, the stark difference between Bizvideo's approach compared to other, you know, companies, and, you know, they're all good in their own way, but I was really searching for someone who could tell my story, understand who I am, and be able to convey that. And that can get lost very easily, especially in video. So even despite all of that, I had my reservations of coming to the first meeting, coming to the first story dev. I think I called Cornet up on the way, like on the highway, going,
Really?
You know what, you know, this probably, you know, isn't right. I was really early on in my business. I had it to my wife. I was like, yeah, this sounds great. Let's just go into it, you know. And it's a big investment. Let's not beat around the bush. It's a big investment, but at the same time, for me, it's worth every penny. So that, you know, going into video, short answer of the long way around.
That's good.
Going into video is, I think, what I'm investing in is the only asset that really reaches people in a way that current advertising before hasn't, you know. So for video, for me was the first point of call. It's just finding that right company.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is a fantastic answer.
It's a long answer, but yeah, that's the long and the short of it. Yeah, that's why I focused on video. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. I mean, you've sort of touched on a few other questions that some of the guys have raised as well. Another one that was coming up was, you know, what I think based on their questions and my thinking was, what was it for you that convinced you to go, oh, this is the right decision for my business?
Yeah.
At that stage, because it was pretty early on. You mentioned.
Yeah, I think it was within 2 months of starting, like really starting the business. I think it was like 12 months of planning. And like with the intention to start, and then 2 months in, a client that we were working for, you know, helped to refine the search to go, you guys should really talk to Bizvideo, and then we started that journey. So I think one of the reservations that I had, or, you know, the turning point, that clicking moment, was actually after the story dev.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so actually, you know, I had to get the feet wet.
Yeah.
You know, you're going for a surf, you're eyeing off the surf, and it doesn't look that great, and you actually go in with, you know, still reservations, and then you realise it's a shredding day. Like, it's a good day to surf. No one's here. No one else is doing this. Is great. And you walk out going, that was the best session ever. And I think for me, like, hopping back in the car and feeling completely different. Because for me, being 2 months in, very early on,
Yeah.
which most businesses would say, and business mentors even would go, listen, wait for video.
Yeah.
Like, establish your business,
Right.
get a plan right. I didn't have that advice at the time, so I just thought, I went with my gut.
Okay.
I make very big decisions with my gut intuition.
Yeah.
And leaving the story dev, session, I was even more clear about why I was in business. Like, let alone why am I doing this? So it's a really good session to have. And nobody else that I was talked to did it. So when, story dev was one of the things that, okay, so I'm going to refine who I am, what my target market is. When I left that meeting, I felt very, very clear and had a lot of clarity about, okay, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
This is who we are as business. And then it went from driving on the phone going, nah, no go, I just don't feel right about it. And it wasn't actually a gut feeling, it was just that anxiety or the fear of, am I making the right decision at this point in my business?
Right.
And, and if I could go back now and sit next to myself in that car, I'd be slapping myself going, what are you talking about? Just hurry up and get in there and get it done. So walked in with reservations, walked out with going, okay, when are we ready to shoot? Okay. So that was my really clicking moment. And then I told Lauren, I said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Oh, by the way, I've already done story dev. So, and it worked out great. And she's fine with that. So, it's good.
That
fine with it now, obviously, 3 years later.
That you've seen what it achieves.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you've mentioned that before in the past, that the story dev was a real defining moment for you in the business to go, all right, we are on this track, we're on the right track, and we now know where we're going, and we know what we stand for and why we're doing this. And that's something, I had a guy in this morning I was chatting to, and he's still trying to decide on the name for his business. He's been conducting under that name for a few months, but he's not sure on it, and I think hearing what you got out of the story dev, I know it's someone like him would find massive benefit in a story development session, just getting clarity on why am I doing this, where am I going, what do I want to niche in. And we've had builders been conducting business for 10 years, and they've said to us after the story development session that they've had a lot more clarity. So it's amazing to hear that it can be achieved at the beginning, but also 10 years on, if you haven't gone through that at the beginning, a lot of builders are just running and
just getting caught up in the day-to-day. It sheds light on something that you may have known the whole entire time but never actually wrote it down. And I think having clarity in your business is super important, and construction is really hard because there's so many different options to go, well, who am I actually building? So many different types of buildings, and that's what excites us about building. But then it's like, okay, who specifically do we want to build for, and what type of projects do we want to build at the end? What finished product do we want to be involved in? And that's, I think it's super important. And say the 2 months doesn't even have a branding name. You could walk out of a story development session and know, okay, this is my name because this is going to reflect, and then shoot it and get your name. Looking back now, that's probably how I would do it personally. I'm like, okay, don't have a name, done story dev, great. I've just shaved 6 months off wondering what I'm actually going to do and get straight into it. I think that's just half of my impatience, or my my ever increasing urge to just act on things. And I think sometimes you can put yourself in concrete and be your own handbrake from that doubt and the false belief, because other people's opinion can be very hard. It's finding the right opinion to listen to. And I guess proof of work's another thing.
What would you say to that? Because we've had some guys also early on, they're doing like the small renos, like a bathroom maybe, and they're like, oh, I don't think you could visually capture. I've got nothing to show. I want to be doing homes like you. Sometimes they've got you as their on their vision board. And they want to be doing, knockdown rebuilds of beautiful luxury homes. And their concern is visually they can't show that, so it can't be done.
I was in the same boat.
Right.
I was 2 months into my business. I had all these contacts. I had gained all the experience from working for the large companies in both early on roles in managerial roles, operations roles, and then coming in with all the experience, but not actually having any work under Kai Konstruct as a name, it's very confronting. But at the same time, you know, an overview video is about your business. You know, it can capture things, I guess, you know, some of the question might be, are you doing the video too early?
Right.
Like, do I need to get more projects underneath my belt to be able to invest in it? And I didn't even actually think about that when I went into it. I'm like, overview video, testimonial. I'm doing I think it was a $200,000 extension at the time on the back of it. And I was there at the shoot of the content during, and then saw the testimonial video afterwards. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how you guys got that story out and made it look the way it did. It's still all authentic and genuine, but it was just really good and polished. Excuse me. And yeah, I think you have to put something out there. Everybody is going to trust. We're doing projects bigger than what we've ever done as Kai Konstruct. Like, huge. Nice. Because of opportunities of people saying, hey, I like who you are as a business, as a family. What you've done in the past client testimonials. And some of the testimonials that they've seen might have been half the type of project, or not even the same project. But they're a family. The type of project we finished was a family. It's relevant. A builder can build anything, given the right team, obviously. And we've worked very hard to get the right team. But, you know, the types of people that you build for, if they can relate to people that are the same, the project size actually, you know, it doesn't matter as much. You know, if they're going to trust you, they're going to give you the opportunity to make that happen. It may not happen all the time. You know, we've been passed plenty of times because we may not have done a large development, but that's not who we are as a business. So there's always stepping stones, but for Kai Konstruct, video hands down has shortened that time. And I'm all about shortening the time and increasing the visibility of who we are.
Just define that time.
Oh, shortening time. Like, say a construction company, my mentor in the Sunshine Coast, he's retiring next year, the most well-known builder in Noosa, luxury homes, and that's who we want to be here. In a similar capacity. So shortening that time, like, it took him 35 years to get to that point. Never advertised, that's fine. I said to him, if you were to do anything different again, after 50 years in the industry and doing what you're passionate about, what was the last time you were passionate and really enjoyed what you're doing and built for those clients? He said, the last 5 years. I'm like, what did you do differently? I said, I actually told people outside of just referrals what I did. So as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, cool. And that was after the overview video too, by the way.
Really?
So I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. So great. Shortening that time, I mean, instead of 35 years, I want to be there in 5, still deliver the same service, not get to, you always got to push yourself out of that boundaries, but you never get the opportunity unless you put yourself out there. So for me, that's shortening that time. Getting to where I want to go quicker so I can help more clients get what they want. And we can, you know, serve them better. And then also, you know, get my family where I want. You know, everyone's in business to, like, for me, the 3 values is, you know, clear communication, integrity, do everything with integrity for our clients within our team, and legacy. Like, Kai Konstruct is a legacy. Kai Konstruct's obviously from, you know, was born from Kai. So
and Kai's your son.
And Kai's my son, and that was the trigger point to start the business. And everyone has a different point that they're going to start the business and their reasoning why. But I think if you know and your conviction of why you're doing your business, finding the why is very, very easy, very easy. And then from that, you can move on forward. So again, long response, but shortening that time.
But that's really, really good to hear. And I think for a lot of people, they have a similar, I mean, the whole reason that they go from, you know, being an apprentice and then they become a chippy and they start their own building companies because they want to grow that. And they probably have similar goals to you, and they're all looking for, how do I do it? You know? And so it was amazing to hear that you've had that mentorship by the guy on the sunny coast. But you've kind of found a solution to achieving that sooner.
Definitely. And I think, you know, it's not that I was, I guess, lucky that I had a mentor, or some people have that in their family already, but I actively sought out somebody who happened to be a family friend a long time ago, taught me how to surf actually.
Oh yeah.
And then I reconnected with them 30 years later. But you have to actively find those people that you go, okay, so you've been there before, you've done it. What did you do? Yeah. And whether or not it's a different time or era, the principles are the same. So actively finding a good mentor, and keeping it to two. I did a podcast of that with Cornet about that. Oh yeah. Yeah, keeping it to two mentors, not crowd yourself with too much information. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's something I've found, especially if I look at like the last 12 months. We have GC, and he's fantastic. I've got Cornet as a mentor, who's on the same path. And then whenever I've had someone else go, oh, check this person out, read that book, do this, do that, and I start, going off track, you quickly see the results from that.
Yeah, because you get nowhere. You're treading water, right? Yeah. You're getting all this information, but you don't make a decision.
You're going left, right, bouncing off. Yep.
Yeah.
Another one that people might have a concern of commitment, time. It's like, it's too big. I'm too busy. I'm too snowed under. They're still stuck in the operations. Yeah. And although they've expressed to me that they desire getting out of that and working on the business, not in the business, their concern is that the whole sound of it, the whole project just sounds too big. So doing, even if it's just the overview, that sounds too big. What would you say to that?
I didn't actually think about the time aspect. I was like, cool, when can we get it done? What do you need? I guess starting the business and being so early on, it was just me. Okay. It's purely me, all my time, working day, working night, doing whatever needs to be done to make things happen. Yeah. And then when I asked the question at the first shift, I'm like, well, how much time is this? Realizing that, no, I can't take half a day out of here. It's actually planned and structured really well. I guess not knowing video production at all back then, you can get a lot of content in a short amount of time. Yeah. And, having the right environment, for me, even now, we're doing lots of different videos and packages, and it takes time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But, you got to allocate that time. Yeah. I think it was the first overview shoot. Yeah. It was at 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. and it was during the week, and I remember my phone was going off the whole entire time. And I'm trying to, get my message across and everything like that. But you know what? It was just 2 hours out of my day. Yeah. And then I got an overview video that has been an asset 100%. Yeah. So everybody is busy. Yeah. Definitely. It's either you want to make it happen or not. Yeah. So, just commit the time, Yeah. Yeah, I just shifted those 2 hours and I worked that night. 1 day sacrifice. Great. Yeah. But, for me, the result is, I'm not in my business. I am. Yeah. I'm involved. Yeah. If I don't rock up to work one morning, the cogs still turn. Yeah. That only happened by investing time in resources such as videos. Yeah. Education, mentorship, finding people I can learn from. Again, shortening that time. Definitely. And when you can shorten that time, you gain more time. It's really perplexing. And I look back at my thought pattern on, I need to do everything. I have to do everything. Somebody can't do my job. Yeah. I have two amazing team members. Yeah. One, she's in the office doing all the estimating, the project management, and then Jamie, my brother's on site. Yeah. I have more time to invest into them because of the time that I set aside for videos, getting our message out there, helping provide information. And so when you say that, it's going to take too much of our time, yes, that may be the case, but allocate it. Yeah. Everyone has a choice. I know that sounds a bit blunt and sharp to the point, but
yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys I talk to will say, I'm just not. Yeah, I'm too busy now. Yeah. I'll do it in 6 months, or contact me back in 6 months.
If I can say anything, it was if there's anything I've learned very quickly is engage people to do what they're good at, and I'll focus on what I'm doing. Yeah. So for me, there's no editing, there's no posting. I think the first video that we saw, it was literally a day of shooting, it was 3 hours of shooting, an hour of shooting more content, and then I watched my video.
Wow.
So 3 hours of my time, in my case for that particular video, it's different all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't do any editing. I didn't worry about whether the photography was shot properly. Like, I have good friends of mine, good people in business that shoot their own videos, and they go, "Oh, gee, yours look great." And I'm like, "Yeah, because they're professional." So I guess, like that from that point, and we still do other video shoots, like, for on-site for Instagram and Facebook and so forth. But the amount of time it would take me to do the same thing, astronomical. Yeah. So I guess that's
good. Yeah, it's same as, imagine me trying to go to Bunnings and buy a bunch of material and tools and put a house together. It would take me years, I think.
Yeah, invest in the experts in your field. Yeah. Plain and simple. Yeah.
Obviously, big question is the investment. So, do you remember what package that you went with when you started?
I think I went with option 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked at option 1 very hard and looked at option 2.
To make sense of the investment. A lot of people are like, no, that's just too much, can't make sense of it. What helped you make sense of it? Yeah, let's start with that.
I think how I see money is very different to how I see it as a business. I can invest very easily.
Okay.
Personally, different story. From a business perspective, very early on, you're wanting to do as much as possible for as little as possible. Even now, well, my perspective's changing in investment in video now anyway. But how did I make sense of it? I thought, okay, great. If I get one more specific client who wants me to build that, I'm not competing on price, who is looking and searching me up because they saw that video, one person, it's paid for itself.
Okay. Awesome.
So I just nutted it down. Now, that's not ROI. That's...
just makes sense.
It just makes sense. I didn't even walk into videos on how much ROI. That wasn't even crossed my mind. I thought, if I can get one person specifically searching for me to build, great, paid for itself.
Perfect. So they're coming to you going, I want to work with you, Tim.
Yeah. And you know what?
Has that been the case?
3 months later, same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it might have been a combination of things, but I know for a fact that after they saw that video, the way we had a conversation and what content was said in that conversation was like we'd known each other for years. Wow. So there's no longer that disconnect of, I don't really know you, you're a builder, I'm getting quotes, what can you do for me? Well, they know who I am. What did she say? It was funny. I'll never forget. It's like, so is Lauren and Kai going to be on site as well? Like, how do you guys operate? I'm like, hang on, how do you know them? What I mean? So but it's great, and that's how I made sense of it at that point of time in my business. So, even if I didn't make any money and all of it went to that resource, I have that resource now. I got that 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Still using it. So I can't if I put a dollar figure on it, it'd probably be paying for itself 30, 40 times. Do you know what I mean? And it's just an investment. That's how I made sense of it then. It's still early on, wasn't jaded by, ROI, how many people am I going to get? It was purely like, if I get one specific person that I am going to enjoy building with, because that's the other thing, you're giving up your life, right? So you want to enjoy who you build with. Then great, cool, done. Next one. For the same 3 packages now, if I could go back and talk to myself, like, take option 4, there's no option 4, okay, make option 4. Do you know what I mean? Because, I see the value in it more than what I did back then. I still saw value, but I was hesitant in making the decision, even though I still made it. So, but that's just my personality behind it.
And hugely grateful that you did.
Massively. Massively. Kai Konstruct would not be where it is without making that decision.
I'm saying we are hugely grateful that you made the decision.
That's great. It works both ways. And that's what I love about you guys. It's win-win, and you guys went above and beyond. And I'm not just saying that either. Like I know, there was a builder doing the exact same thing as I was, same time, started the same time, waited 6 more months for their video, very similar scope, and it was chalk and cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, and and that's just being completely honest. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad I did too.
Awesome, man. Another question. Yeah, I think this is a big one that people often, across all different businesses, not only builders, but they see, I don't know where they get the information from, but they have this idea that if I engage in any kind of marketing, I want to, that, as you mentioned, ROI, they're focusing on the ROI. What is it? I want to get this company, I don't know even what, it might be a different kind of agency offering, I don't know what, but they promised me 1,000 people or 100,000 people, or, so many hits or leads or whatever. Yeah. And I find often their focus is on that, and they go, how many are you going to bring me? Yeah. And I'm trying to say to them, well, why can you handle thousands of leads? Well, no. Well, then, why do you want that? But their focus is so much on that, as opposed to
on a numbers game.
On a numbers game, they're trying to see the numbers that are coming in of leads, or hits or whatever. What do you feel the focus is on your perspective? Before I say anything on
how I approach it.
Yeah, I mean, how we've approached it.
Yeah.
And how we kind of swing that, and often we have to shift the mind of our clients to go.
There's a lot of bad information out there.
Yeah. But what's been your...
I think, and I say that from, experience, like before, talking with you guys and even other areas of the business of, like, say, software investment and things like that build our business. Yeah. There is so much advice out there. And then you ask the question, so have you done it yourself?
Yeah. And
the question is always no. And I think it's not, for me, it was never ever a numbers game.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a custom home builder.
Yeah.
I wanted to deal with people who were qualified.
Yeah.
Already qualified.
Yeah.
They knew who I was, what I was about, and was interested in going further.
Yeah.
If I had 1,000 clients that were qualified, great. But I only need a certain amount.
Yeah.
Like, you could spend your whole entire time in the office making cold calls to 1,000 leads and not get one that was actually, I guess, in line with what you wanted.
Yeah.
For us now, like, it always takes time. This is not an overnight thing, right? Like, this is it's an asset.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, you get it out there as much as possible in the area. It builds two things: brand awareness, who you are as a company, your values, and then you need to think about, how do you value your brand?
That's
like,
big.
It's like, what price do you put on what you want to do? And is this a long-term thing? And everyone who gets into business, it's always, I want it to be successful.
Yeah.
I want to have something for my family, or for myself if you don't have a family.
Okay.
And it's a long-term goal.
Yeah.
So I can tell you now, if I had 1,000 leads, there's no way we could do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is our model though.
Yeah.
But if I had 1,000 qualified leads and that's what I wanted, no worries.
Yeah.
But I would not look at it as an ROI, because video plays so many different factors.
Yeah.
Like Lauren and Kai were at the shops. I think it was at the markets.
Oh yeah.
And then the lady behind the store is like, oh, hey, I'd love for you guys to build a house, and completely caught off guard. I had a good eye chuck because I was walking past, and I'm like, but you're building brand awareness and people knowing who you are without you even knowing them, and they're going to call you when they're ready.
Yeah.
And we know, like, we've had conversations with them, they're ready in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Because they saw our video a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's never should be about a now game, for me anyway.
Yeah.
And it's all about, okay, if it's so much of an ROI, I'd prefer every single lead that comes in is way more qualified than if I just got an ad, put it on Facebook, and go, great, there's all these tire kickers coming in.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes to us, they've made their mind up that they want to build with us.
Yeah.
There's always certain parameters about what they want.
Yeah.
And we're always going to deliver value, way more value than most of who we build for and other builders out there.
Yeah. Sure.
Trying to be the best, but they've already pre-sold themselves.
Yeah.
Because your values and their values line up. And for me, last year, I loved every single one of the clients that I built for.
Wow. That's fantastic.
That came across as of our video and came through that channel.
Yeah.
Because
they self-identified.
Yeah, they self-identified, you know? It's like I could have a barbecue with half of them. And usually we do on some occasions.
Good, yeah.
So yeah, ROI is not a numbers game. It should never be a number game, especially when a video is about your why and your story.
Yeah.
Because you can't put a value on that. You know, if you're going to value a business on numbers, then it might be, I think you should reevaluate how you look. Anyway, for me, you know, I still look at things with ROI.
For sure.
But it's really hard. The video crosses too many different facets of your business.
Okay.
Again, long answer. But from how I've analysed it, that's how it's come about.
It's good for me, I think, and for the people who are going to be watching this.
Yeah.
Just to get a really in-depth, because if you were to give me a one-sentence answer,
I could give you a one-sentence summary. Don't ROI it.
But there's going to be, for the people watching this, they're going to have so many questions. Many questions, you know, in the back of their head.
Yeah.
False beliefs. So I'm glad you gave us an in-depth answer to that. One question that I've really been holding out to ask you. This is something a builder actually over in Perth who wants to come on board, loves it, but he's on the fence.
Yeah.
And he's saying to me, contact me in 6 months' time. I just invested in the home show in 3 months' time.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm going to give it a try and see how I go there.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll talk to you guys. What would be your response to someone going that avenue?
I would pull my deposit. I would go, thank you for the opportunity, and start my video shoot tomorrow. And I only say that because I haven't experienced it myself, but the company that I worked for did that, you know, consistently. This is a large company, right? This is like high, again, volume, right? So it's, I think about this. Where is your target audience?
Yeah.
And for me, you know, and we had the opportunity to do the home show too, right? Like we get calls most years to go, hey, do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And I always go, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And purely because that's not who we are. The target market there is seeking information, which I'll provide through video.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like walking past, I'm like, hey, here's my product, call me. That's great. You can still build a great lead following in different ways through Facebook in the same area without even having to stall. Yeah. You know, I think, we had a really good strategy of what we did last year. Didn't have a stall. We were present there, and we got probably more leads and we weren't competing on price.
So you just walked through?
Yeah. Yeah. Long story short, if you want to go to a trade show, get your whole entire team, deck them out with shirts. This is a freebie, by the way. Deck them out with shirts and walk around the whole entire place for 2 hours. Yeah. You know, I think we had like 7, I know. I got a few other people to wear our shirts, walking around, but they all knew who we were. Yeah. They were educated. They gave truthful, you know, answers to any questions they got answered. Yeah. And, you know, we had more presence there than us getting a single booth, and I didn't have to pay for it. I paid for the guy's lunch and entry. That's brilliant. You know, that's a sneaky way of doing it. You know, and plus, you know, I go there to educate myself. I don't go there to advertise. Yeah. You know, so if I was that builder, and this has been completely honest too, I would pull it, go great, start my video shoot, do the video. And you can reach to more people if you utilize it properly too. Like even though it's an asset, you need to use it properly. That's would be my advice. Your target market probably is he a custom home builder? Yeah, definitely not your target market. Okay.
One thing that you mentioned there that maybe I want to ask you about, just because we've had a bunch of discussions over it in the past. I've known you for the past sort of 12, 14 months.
Yeah, it's been a while now. It's been good.
It's been really good. And I think all the team here would easily consider you, hands down, not just a friend, but a good friend. Yeah. You know, and a reliable friend, which is something pretty special. But a question you said there about putting shirts on these people and going there, brand awareness. What are some? Because I talked to a whole bunch of different builders, different stages in that business life cycle. Yeah. And they all represent their brand, from what I'm hearing them say. And what I see when I jump on their website or, if we're video calling, what they're wearing, how they're presenting themselves, the type of projects they're doing, or how they present the projects they're doing.
Okay.
What would be some of the really key things you've learned about branding and positioning over the last 3 years?
Oh, positioning, that's a huge topic all in itself, positioning.
Open the can of worms.
But but it's important because nobody teaches you this.
Yeah.
And I learned, not the hard way, but it took me a long time to learn what was important. And I'm still learning every single day. Like I'm no way on top of positioning and niching and branding. Like it's an ever evolving thing that every business has, because your business is constantly growing and changing. But what I would say is that one thing with branding, like websites is a big one. And for builders, we're terrible at it because we're so busy. Like we're constantly updating whenever we can. But your message and what is shown, proof of work, and what's written on the website should be congruent.
Yeah. And
by that I mean what you say is what you represent and actually what you do. And being congruent in who you are as a brand is so important. So important. Like, you could be a high-end builder and have a volume home style website. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mixed
I spoke to a guy
messages.
last week just like that.
Just mixed messages. And, and that's fine, but change it.
Yeah.
And you're going to, provide the information that the right people are looking for, and you're going to get known for that, for that area. When we started the first 6 months, the first year even, we were saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And even though we were, knew who we were and our why and who we were as a business, you still need to have that filter. And again, like we revamped the website, a year ago, because it got to a point where we were, and you shoot bigger and bigger. The more confidence you have behind you, knowing that you're on the right path, it needs to be updated. And like an overview video is great because it's almost timeless because the values and who you are don't change. Yeah. You can use that over and over and over again. So being congruent in your branding. And that awareness, so important. Otherwise, you'd be wondering, like, why don't I have the clients that I want? And it's great. Actually, another tip, I did it when our first website came out, because you're always wondering, like, oh, is my opinion right for your website? So I used to go around to everybody and said, all right, even behind a cafe waiting for a coffee, I'd go to the guy next to me like, hey, do you mind just looking at this website? Didn't tell him it was mine. What messages, who would you consider this builder to build like? Oh, probably, small renovations. Great. What do I need to change? Like getting feedback is important, but honest feedback too. Don't ask your friends and family. It's jaded. Like, talk to somebody that you don't know and go, hey, if you were looking to build, getting that feedback. But branding's super important. Building industry is rife for not getting it right. And the ones that do, and I'm not saying we have fully either, but it's well on the way to getting into what it was, which was, what did he start? A one-page landing page with a photo of, a renovation that I did when I was an apprentice. Right. It wasn't congruent with who we were. So I had to change that very quickly. And that, we landed on our feet. We found a good branding company. Like, this is not a planned event. This is like seeking out the right people and the right people showing up at the right time, and then acting on it. Because you can have the right person. You might be calling the right person at the right time, but if you don't act on it, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Yeah. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I have a lot of those conversations. Sounds good. It's what I want.
Yeah. I'm thankful for my impatience with that and making a decision, because, you otherwise you're operating with a rearview mirror, looking in the rearview mirror, hoping. Yeah,
definitely. And just out of, I guess another question that you raised there that's just come to mind. Goals, setting goals.
Yeah.
How big do you set them? How far ahead?
So you can't reach them.
So you can't reach them.
Well, so you can. No, I said that wrong. You need to set goals, I guess, that would exceed your expectation. Like for me, it's funny, like I'd read back on my goals that I set, and this is something that you don't write on a notepad and you just like, it stays in the drawer, and then next you go, oh, those were my goals. Like this is like plastered on my wall right next to my desk, so I can't like lose it. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm losing track of that. It keeps you going. But when I set a goal, it's not like I want to build one house this year. Great, I reached my goal. cool, I'm done for the year.
Yeah.
I think like we had this discussion I think last month.
Yeah.
Talking about, you know, if you're going to set a goal, make it, you know, within what you expect your business to be, but challenging at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. So for us, like, you know, even setting the 5-year plan we set a year ago with our business advisor, I look back now and go, oh, how short-sighted I was, because he could see something I couldn't.
Yeah.
So again, it's, you know, you're setting the goals, but having a mentor or someone that you can, you know, talk to about it. And yeah, that was huge. Yeah. So setting goals that seem unachievable. Yeah. But you know that if you make it happen, it's challenging. Yeah. And then it's rewarding. Yeah. You know, and even if I don't reach the goal, say I want to do $10 million in building. Yeah. And I go to 8. It's still better than setting a $4 million goal. You know, you just doubled it. I fell short, but you know, I'm okay with that. You know, so yeah, having that perspective. That's good. Yeah. 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 Even if it's unachievable and you fall short of it, it's still probably a lot more than what you would have if you set a comfortable goal. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I know. After that chat we had, talking to Andre recently, he was saying if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Definitely.
So that's in line with what you're saying there.
Yeah. And time goes quick. And, you know, that's why businesses, you know, been 10, 20 years, still trying to reach what they wanted. Yeah. You know, or got complacent because the goals were too small. Yeah. You know, maybe it was their model, but for me, you know, if I'm going to invest in video and I'm going to actually push myself in business and make those sacrifices that we all make and work those nights and sometimes deal with situations that you may not necessarily want to deal with, you know, like, why do I start this building company? I'm overbuilding, you know, you have those moments, like everybody has them. It's just the reality. But, you know, if you don't have, you know, that goal in mind at the start, and that drive's super important, and you got to work on that. Yeah. I know I have to work on that constantly. Like there's days where, you know, you wake up at 4 o'clock and you're like, oh, not today, thanks. And it's like Friday or Monday, but you know, you treat every day like it's Wednesday, right? You know, like I'm in full tilt, right? No matter if it's Saturday, treat it like it's a Wednesday. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Treat it like a Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Epic. What's today, everyone? Wednesday. No, it's Friday. No, it's Wednesday. Keep going. Yeah.
Keep hustling. Yeah. I think that's it. I think you killed it.
Well, I hope I answered the question, but you know, like there's so many levels to all of it, just with everything. Yeah. And you know, if I can give anybody who's sitting on the fence some advice, it's, you know, just act on it. The proof of work's there. Like, you know, you guys are excellent at what you do, and I don't just say that. Yeah. Because I see comparisons all the time. Yeah. And you know, it's just taking that action. Yeah. You know, and if that's anything to our success, is we act and move and pivot very, very quickly in our business to improve. Yeah. And if that means, you know, like now we talk to you guys about, you know, okay, that's great. Option 3 looks good. Where's option 4 and 5? Like, because we understand the value in it. Yeah. You know, whereas before it was like trying to make sense of the money. Yeah. Now it's just, you know, how much more does this add value to our clients? Yeah. Number one, how much does it add value to them?
It's big, yeah.
Keeping them informed, you know, and then two, the payoff is that we get to work with them, and a business is a business, and you get those results. Yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. Tim, thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
Mate, that was awesome. Nailed it.